Wow, look at all this stuff here made from birch bark. Ever smart those Anishinaabeg knowing how to make stuff from the tree, the birch tree. Wigwas we call it. Hi, I'm Manoominikeng, cultural support worker here at Nojawan Tech Health Center, and I am working on doing our wild rice series and different things we can do to harvest the wild rice, natural food that was gifted to the Anishinaabeg. And here around Manitoulin Island area, we're just relearning about how to do that. And today we are talking about making a Winnow Tray, and it's the Anishinaabeg made this to help them with part of the harvesting the wild rice for the, so the winnow is the activity. And I invited Tidor Flama, Winnowing's natural resource technician, who will be explaining how this tool is working for harvesting the wild rice. And Louis Francis, bushcraft artisan, will be teaching us how to make a winnow tray like this. So we're back, and I asked bushcraft artisan Louis Francis to tell us how to make one of these winnowing tray made out of birch bark and for harvesting wild rice. So we saw some pictures earlier. We can do lots of things with birch bark, but today we want to learn how to make this. So first we have the wigwas, the birch bark. So is there something special about working with the birch bark we need to know?
Yeah, the best one to get is the female. This is the female bark, and this is the male bark.
Yeah. So how do we tell the difference between male and female?
Those long lines are the males, and the little short lines, those are the females. See, these are all long lines. That's why it cracked there and there. When it dries, it cracks. If it's when you punch those holes, you can't go inside that. See that? And that'll rip after.
Yeah.
You can't break it this way, but this way.
So how you bend it after to make it is important. Yeah.
Make it. See them on an angle there.
Yeah.
When you're going to pick the birch bark, you look for those first. So if they got a whole bunch of long lines, it's okay, but you can't do it for stuff like this.
Yeah, and this is the inside of the bark. So on the outside, it'll look something like that.
That's what you'd see on the tree, eh? See those long lines?
Yeah.
So just leave that tree and look for one that has short lines.
Yeah. And then also these kind of things too that might factor for
you can just
pick it.
Scrape those off there.
Okay.
And just go like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
And if you want to split it, just keep it soaking. See how thin that is?
Yeah.
That was pretty thick, eh?
Yeah, so we need a little bit of thick too, right?
Like for that,
make it a little bit strong.
Once you wet this, it'll just peel off. Each layer is 1 year, eh? And all inside there is all glue. As soon as you wet it, I use this to wet it, eh? Then you can bend it. It turns into rubber.
Pliable, And what else do we need to use? We got these, over here at the edge to sew it together.
You got to have these to punch the holes. This one's a drill. This one can go through wood, eh? To start that.
Okay.
To put those lines in, you put your finger behind there. This is what I do anyway, and then drill.
Yeah.
Until you feel that. See where it's just coming out? And get a bigger one, and then spread it.
Yeah, so after you cut out your wigwas, your birch bark, you punch the holes
Uh,
uniformly.
I get a piece of paper that's 1 inch long, so you want the spacing 1 inch or whatever spacing. Make sure you don't go in those
The
lines,
little, yeah.
because it'll be no good. It'll rip. So just slide that along, put 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and you can adjust it if you want it shaped out more, like with this. I did this last night, so I let it dry, so it would be ready to go.
So what you gonna sew it with?
That's a black spruce root. That's what I'm going to use. You have to wet that stuff to make it flexible.
Yeah, so you used boiling water first, or so the spruce root can be different sizes, right? So like we got skinny
Here,
one,
yeah.
you got thick one here.
I'll rip one for you. You got to be careful with a knife like this.
That's what I was about to say.
It cuts right to the bone.
Yeah.
You got to watch it. When you split it, go right in the middle, and if it goes to that side, you leave this side straight up, and you just bend this side, and then goes back to the middle. You got to just go really slow. Keep it in the middle.
So usually when we get something from Mother Earth, whether it be food or medicine or plant like the spruce or the birch, we would offer tobacco for and give thanks to that plant and to Mother Earth and other beings to help us.
You can just do it in the morning, give tobacco, and then you don't have to give it for every tree. Eh?
Okay. Yeah.
Usually you take a little bit more off on that, the core, but and you go thinner to this size here. Oh, these ones are whole, eh?
Yeah.
Those are nice. These ones I split. See this whole pile is a split one, so they fit in those holes. Eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sharpen the point like that, so you can get it started.
Yeah.
You can split this smaller, another one again, and another. Keep going till you get just small ones. I was going to split that, but that's okay. See, it didn't really get all wet. See how hard that is? But where it was wet.
Yeah. So you have red willow around
That's
the
a red,
edges here.
Yeah, I better get the red willow.
Here you have one peeled. Yeah.
This is the red willow. This is a medicine as well.
Yeah. Lots of uses for red willow.
Everything that's in an aspirin is in that red willow. You just gotta take that the red bark off. See the green bark? There's a thin layer of green bark. That's where all the medicine is. When I was on the water walk, one lady, I had the canoe because I already did 4 or 5 walks and I was getting tired. So I was on the canoe and this lady, like she'd been walking for 8 hours, and she goes, "Louis, can I get on the canoe? My legs are so sore." And she was going, oh. So I pulled over and I got that, and you just sucked on that, and then for a while, and she goes, "It works." So that's like an aspirin, heavy duty aspirin.
Mm-hmm. Natural aspirin.
You can split these too. That's what I did to get that one. I split this. This is a red willow. Like it was longer than this. Mm-hmm. But to do this one, I'm gonna. I just cut it a little bit. I didn't split it. I just shaved it. So that will go start there.
Is that to help with bending it? Or?
Yeah, but I gotta pour hot water on it. Everything you bend, you gotta bend super slow. And I put it on a piece of paper, measured 3 inches out, 3 inches, 3 inches, and then I cut that all out. And then I
Yeah, that's one of the things for size of making that tray. I forgot to mention that. See how I'm holding it like this way? It's like ergonomic. It's like the size of my arm. So that way, you know, a good size, because you know, if it's too wide, you know, your arm's gonna get too tired.
It could be,
or
it could be
too
longer,
small.
like it could be a little longer. You could just flip them like that.
Yeah, for
sure. I wasn't too sure how to make it, but I just figured, since you gave me the male ones, I didn't want to bend it straight. So.
Right. Yeah.
And then I made this. It was a heavy-duty plastic. So all the lines are running this way. So you got to pick a spot where you can bend it. Probably like that. And you can mark it all out and use that shear to cut it, or use a knife to cut it. Yeah, I use this. Just put a board underneath there. You just cut all that out, and then you end up with that. Once it's all cut out, and this is where.
Yeah, the smoother side would be the inside. So the rocks, just to help flatten it out?
Yeah.
So that makes it nice and soft to work with?
Yeah. And then you lift.
And helps to make it bend, Okay.
You stand it all up with these rocks.
Okay, to help keep it shaped.
Mm-hmm. You just keep pushing the rocks in, push those rocks in. It'll end up like that.
So it'll be wet like that?
Yeah.
And then you just let it sit?
It gets really rubbery. Once it's wet like that, clamp it.
And do you have to wait till it's dry, or?
No, overnight. Once you make that shape, clamp it, dry it overnight, and then it'll stay like this. But you want that reinforcement around there.
Yeah.
You tie the corners together, and any excess you just cut that off. And then the holes are all already drilled, and you just put that on the outside. You can even use this, that spruce root on the outside, like that, all the way around, and tie it up with that. Just put this, you lock that side in, and you just keep going.
And it's just a basic stitching.
Yeah, just around. Just keep going around and around. You could probably do all this and then stick it in after.
Right, yeah, just make sure you leave enough space so you could slide it in.
You can put that in there after, but the red willow, once it just takes a little bit of work to do it. And we'll just go like that. And once that's done, if there's any holes, any rips, you can melt some of this pine pitch or spruce in a can like that. once you put it on the fire, it'll just liquefy, and then you can anywhere there's a hole, fill it in if you want to make it waterproof. But this is just for tossing, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
This shears is the best thing for cutting, as I found. But some of the birch bark is a 1/4 inch thick, like 3 times that thickness.
Right. Yeah. So there's other things you could sew with, not only spruce root. You can sew with cedar bark, the inner cedar bark, or you said rubber plant of this one.
Yeah, the rubber.
And then the other one, basswood fiber, is another one they like.
I think that's what the name of it is, the basswood fiber.
Yeah.
This they asked me to make to gather syrup.
Yeah.
You got to wet it and let it set, especially on these. You got to set it overnight once you got it to that stage. So when you go to cut harvest the birch bark, look for those long lines. If they got long lines, don't take it.
Yeah. So this is what Louis' presentation was about, to make the winnowing tray to make for harvesting wild rice after parching it. And hopefully we all got enough information how to do it ourselves. And so harvesting the birch bark will be certain time of year, late June.
When the wild strawberries come out, or the wild roses.
Yeah.
Those pink roses, when they come out, that's when it's ready.
Yeah. And then the spruce root we can harvest anytime, perhaps.
It's good to harvest it on a creek or on a shore where there's erosion, then it exposes the roots.
Okay.
Alrighty, and my name's Cedar Flava. I work for the lands office here in Manoominikeng, and I guess I'm the natural tech, I guess, call myself. Anyway, I've been asked to do a presentation on how to winnow wild rice. In the language, this dish is called Baas-ji-ge-naagan. And I'll explain why it's called that later on as we're going along. But to start, when wild rice is first picked and it has sat for about a couple days drying, this is what it looks like. And it doesn't look anything like wild rice. There's some work involved. There's parching, then the dancing, and then the winnowing part. I guess today we'll be doing the winnowing part of it. So that's where this dish comes in. After you had danced on it, the wild rice will look like that. There'll be a lot of broken pieces and whatnot, and some of it burns, turns white, which you don't want. So in the end, you have to sort this all up. Anyway, so getting back to the dish, fortunately there's no wind in here. But but I will call them the different ways to get on the knee. When which are they one? Baasjige-naagan, Baasjige-naagan. Neither sending Kade, the dumb boss don't wonder. Michel, no, then dip the dot one the knee. Nee, I guess the things in the school. Manda. Share. No, Manda, wait. I don't know. It'll blow that away. The wind will blow that away. Me just so the now guessing Manda nee. No wind. Manda's not what they're thinking. Peter's gedaan in die Manda. Gedaan in die. Dat katse ron man. Doe ik naar zo'n rice, mijn ouders geven de boekschap. Ik ga paar maanden dan keer. Die schoon hier man, pas doe. Man, dat shit geen in Baasjige-naagan man. Where's the fan? Dat kan ik nog. Zullen we nog een tiamba? Nee. Nee, kom dan in de basting of de, weet je wel, ex. Wie we edling Baasjige-naagan. Is een van de coaching dus dan king, of we man de spelling Baasjige-naagan, man dan een moppie. Nee, de missie is. Niet raar wat niet. In de pakkat zeg we niet. No men gaat er zijn dan wat te winnen. Hij heeft er wel wat in zijn nog niet. Koos, je zit daar dan man. Koos. Je kan zo naar zien, je zit daar in. Shaff.
Ja.
Koos, dat is een snel, je zit daar dan. Maar dat zijn wel een wat stijl, want dat niet wint ooit. Die scoort het zich heen. Terwijl dan nam dat is aan de kunnen aan, ik heb het ooit. Dat het pakket ze doen niet, heb ook schaak. Hé, wat dat we, mijn naam aan de hé, Job schaak, hé, gewoon schwijn, wat zeg je dat dood. Snap je toch? Ga gewoon patsen nog. Maar dat is, hier zit daar. Ik zou nog allemaal dat kunnen nachtje. Niemand is gezien. Zo gedaan, zo om de pot. Weet je wat in de mondi? Shaff. Kom. Niet dat ze, niet dat ik zeg niet meer.
Ja.
Meer nog wat?
Ja.